Okay guys, so far in our lessons you've learnt two chords. You've learnt the G major chord and the A minor chord, and in today's lesson we're going to learn the C major chord and the E minor chord. So you're going to use this time your LCM Step 1 handbook, and if you want to open up to pages 6 and 7 of your handbook for this lesson. So the first chord that we're going to take a look at is the C major chord. It's on page 6, and the chord, we're looking at the 3-string version of the chord. We're looking at the easier version, and the chord should look something like this that you'll see now just popping up on the screen. And you'll see that we have a number 1 written on the second line. Okay, so you see a number 1 written on the second line, and that number 1 is also in the first box. Okay, now what that is telling us to do, it's telling us to use, number 1 means we use our first finger, and it's telling us to put our first finger on the second string of our guitar in the first fret. Okay, so you'll have already learnt that that is a C note. Okay, you've already learnt the notes on the second string, so you'll know that's a C note. So this is why we're calling it the C major chord, because it's named after the C note. Now, to turn this, just the C note, into the C major chord, all we need to do is strum the bottom 3 strings on our guitar. So if you're using your thumb, you start off, place your thumb on the 3rd string and pretend it's a brush, and just brush down to strum your guitar. Okay, or you might be using a pick. So if you're holding a pick between your thumb and your first finger, again pretend the pick is like a brush and strum down towards the floor. Now again, one of the things that we need to be careful of is that we don't allow our finger just to kind of lie flat against the neck of the guitar, because that would mean our first finger is rubbing up against or touching string number 1, and we end up with a sound like that, and we want to avoid that. What you want to do is use the tip of your finger on the second string and arch or arc your finger. So you can almost imagine that you're creating a little tunnel for your for the bottom string or string number 1 to live under. Okay, so just make sure you're not touching the bottom string, or as we call it, string number 1, with your finger as you're playing this, and hopefully then you'll get a nice clear sound. Okay, that will take a little while to get sounding clear. It'll not come overnight, so don't worry if it doesn't sound, if it sounds a little bit like this and doesn't sound perfect. Keep working on it. Keep working on using the tip of your finger and trying to get that nice and clear. Okay, so the other thing that we're going to now move on to the E minor chord, and the E minor chord, we'll just pop that on screen now, the diagram, and you'll see that there are no numbers whatsoever. Okay, so this is great news, because that means we don't need to hold down any notes. But you'll see from our picture that there are 3 zeros above those first 3 lines. Okay, and those zeros are telling us that we need to play these 3 strings, the 3 bottom strings, just open, playing them open. So we don't need to hold down any strings, just like this. Okay, or if you're using your thumb. Okay, so that's our E minor chord. So great, nice easy chord to learn. Okay, so practice those 2 chords, and what you might also want to do is practice also your G chord and your A minor chord. Just strum them a couple of times. Here's my C chord, my G, A minor using 2 fingers, and our E minor. And just until you kind of start to feel a little comfortable with them. If you're using your book to do this, you're practicing the 3-string version. So in brackets it says 3-string version. Don't try the full version quite yet, and that might be a little bit too tricky for you. So yeah, so have a go at that, and once you feel comfortable with that, I'll see you in the next video where we're going to learn all of rhythm study number 1.